Okay, here we go. Another game. I've got my notes pulled up. I'm looking for a Ruy Lopez to see what we can get. Uh, Standard opening here, and Ruy Lopez is on the board. So we're into the Spanish game. So again, we're looking for this or this, either the knight move or the pawn move, to either go into an escape with my. Okay, so we have seen this before. But man, my memory, this is where the chess people are much better at this than I am, like the pros, because they have a better memory and they can remember what they're supposed to do. I'm going to go ahead and take, treating this kind of like the exchange variation that where normally the opponent is looking to take with the queen pawn. So this is less desirable than the exchange variation. So I've got a couple options here. I'm thinking just pawn up, which gets my dark square bishop out. I don't know if I want it, how far I want to get my dark square bishop out, but also allows me to bring. See, I was just trying to block this. Allows me to bring this in. Okay, so that's defended, but it's not defended enough because notice if he takes, I can't take back because that leaves that rook hanging. But now I'm okay. And one of the things we know is that this rook to e1 move is a good, valid move. So notice I'm now out from underneath this pin. He's got one attacker, two attackers. One attacker, two attackers, yeah. And I've got one defender, two defenders. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so now we have a very closed position. Closed position meaning these pawns aren't going anywhere for a while. So how do we want to bust this open? Is there any defender on that square? Can I take? Let's think about this pretty quickly. My two candidate moves right now are take with this knight. So knight takes on e5 is an undefended pawn. Notice the queen goes there, but this is still a defended pawn, so all I have to do is take my knight and get it out of the way. I could even go here. No, I could even go there because then this exchange could happen, and I've still got that. Okay, okay. The other one would be to fianchetto, but he's got this thing, so I'm just gonna go with this take. Talk myself into it. So again, I've said this before, but I play these fast games when I'm recording videos just because it ensures that they are quick games, and I'm not making 6-hour long videos where I'm having to try to talk my way through it. Actually, I'm looking at this move next. So if he goes here to threaten my knight, I'm going to go here, pick up a pawn. Yeah, that's what he was looking at as well. Okay. So my light square bishop is gone because I traded it away. This is undefended. Can I get it defended? So again, I'm thinking of this fianchetto. Now that I've weakened this diagonal is becoming a little bit stronger to me. I really want to get this guy out of here. I'm just trying to decide if it's probably going to come right back here, most likely. Next up is probably going to be this move. Actually, no, because he can't take that. He can't go here because I've got it covered. Anyway, so I play these fast games as part of this, as part of my learning process. So here's a sacrifice I could make. I could make this sacrifice, force his king to take back, which would ruin his chances of castling and free up his. There's really no reason why not to bring this guy back down. So that's a sacrifice I could make, but a sacrifice I could make by taking that pawn. But I'm not smart enough to know what that looks like. So this is the weak pawn. This is a pawn I would like to weaken. Notice how strong it is though right now. I would like to weaken it, and I don't know how to do that right now. All right, so now I got to figure out what to do with this knight, can't take. I'm not going back here. So there's that move that we were talking about that I allowed. Now we know what to do in this case, right? We don't, well, he doesn't have the backup anymore. Oh no, he does have this backup. So there is some concern here. How are we going to take care of this concern? Do we take care of it like this? Do I need to take care of this concern? This takes, yeah, I think I need to take care of this concern. The question is how. Notice this is undefended. All right, what if I take, all right, what if I sacrifice this guy here? No, I can't do that because then he could take here with check and I can't do anything about it. All right, so that's got to sit there. So let's just figure out how we want to. All right, so this is just preventing this. Notice if he tries to come down here, I've got this knight. So if this knight tries to take on h2, I've got my knight covering h2. He does have both of his bishops, so I got to be careful of that. I'm really thinking that I'd like to eliminate that light square bishop as fast as possible. That would make me really happy. So how do I eliminate that light square bishop? What if I were to plop my knight here and encourage a trade? That's a plan, right? Encourage this kind of trade. So I've got a little pressure here. Not a lot, but mostly I'd like to see this trade. Eliminating that light square bishop means that that square becomes stronger and my king gets a little bit safer. All right, so how do we want to take? I'm pretty sure we're taking this way, right? And then I can... Okay, so that makes me feel a little better. If I have to hide my king, I can. If I have to hide my king, I can. There is... I'm not nearly as concerned about that this weakening structure here because I've improved my chances against it. So how do we weaken this, though? This is a good game. This is a very interesting game. I'm up a pawn, but a pawn is not much right now. Is there a way... Okay, so the next question is, can I make this sacrifice here now? So if I take here, he takes back. I take here, I'm up a second pawn. Yeah, he saw that. Okay. Now notice this exchange does now weaken that pawn, which is exactly what I was hoping for. The question is, what do we do about it? How do we do anything about that? This is too obvious, and I really don't like that. That's too obvious. I'm going to go ahead and pre-move this in case he takes here. I can get back a little bit of time. Pre-moving like that, don't pre-move to where you could go accidentally, because if your opponent makes a move that you weren't expecting, you don't want to be committed to a move. Yeah, okay, this is good. So, oof. Now I don't want to make this exchange. There's got to be, let's see, if I go here and he takes down, does that help me in any way, shape, or form? Not yet. I don't know. I'm just making a waiting move, just putting protection here. On these kind of open file exchanges, whoever captures first gives the other player control over that open file. I don't see a path to victory right now. Do you guys? I'm not seeing anything, and I'm starting to run out of all of my knowledge. So I could do something like this. Run my queen out to like the g5 square. Yeah. So I have control of this now, but it's just with my queen, and I don't like that because all he's got to notice. Actually, no, he can't. He can't move his rook there because I would take. Is there any way? So he's giving up. He just gave up that pawn. Yeah, I'm just taking that pawn. That's not a threat yet. So I'm up 2 pawns, and I'd like to do something with that, but I don't know how right now. How can I do something with this? If I take a 3rd pawn and give him back his piece, I don't want to do that. I can't imagine he would make this trade, but I'm pre-moving it just in case. Notice, if he'd move something else, my queen can't go to that square because it's blocked by my own piece. At which point in time, I'm happy. You know, I didn't make that move. I didn't want to make a move anyway. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not just talking crack now. I'm up 2 pawns, so I'm going to start looking for trades. I don't know how to get trades in, except I think my next move is going to be here. So, black resigned? What? That was odd. Okay. I'll give him a well played on that one. I don't understand why he would have resigned at all. He's still, I mean, he's down 2 pawns, but he's still in it. You guys have seen how many games I've blundered? Come on now. Come on, son. You guys have seen how many games I've blundered. Let's talk through those for a second. Why would you resign? All right, before I make my move, he made his move. I can't get a check in. The best I could hope for would be something like this. Maybe that's it. So maybe I move here. He takes, I take back, he takes. No, that doesn't work because of the move order. I don't see. So my next move, like I said, my next move was here so that I could go up and try to force this exchange. Now, I don't like that idea so much because I am weakening right in front of my king. But I can just tuck my king underneath this pawn, have an outside pawn that can run up the board if I need it to. Yes, my king is a little bit inside the middle of the board, but I think I'd be safe on either square. Since this pawn is already pushed, actually this pawn would be gone. I don't know if my king would be safer here on the corner or here in the center where it would be safer. But either way, I wouldn't have resigned that. You're only 2 pawns down. Let's look. See what the engine says. Wow, the engine says I've got a mess. Oh my gosh. Woo-hoo-hoo! I'm staring so long. I have got 100% blinders on. I'm staring at this bishop and the queen, and I don't even notice the fact that my pawn is just sitting right there. Oh, that's what happens, man, when you get tunnel vision. Whoa. Whoa, tunnel vision. Oh, man. All right. Real talk for a second. How many of you guys spotted that? Real talk. How many of you guys spotted that my opponent dropped their queen and I was happily to move out of the way and move on with my life? Okay, so yeah, my opponent dropped his queen. I didn't notice it. This is why we play these games. This is why my rating keeps fluctuating right around 1300 and I can't do any better. All right, so this is the Ruy Lopez. This is the Steinitz. I need to look up this because I've seen it now a few times. In fact, let me go over here and make a note on my notepad. Steinitz defense. It looks like it's the standard Ruy Lopez with the bishop b5, followed by, my keyboard is really clacky, followed by a d3 pawn move. That's the Steinitz. Okay, so I need to look up what we're supposed to do in this case. Okay. I went with after an exchange variation, which according to the engine is not a good option. It is the third most played move in the database, but it does not give white as much of an advantage as some of these other moves would make. So the d4 move, just controlling the center, seems to be the best one, right? Because we've pinned this piece so it can't take. If he takes, if he takes, I take back, right? Yeah, so if I do d4, e captures on d4, knight captures on d4. Right, okay. And then knight captures on, wow, you're just going all out. And then the b pawn captures, and then you run the bishop away. Okay. That is an interesting line. I'm not at all familiar with that. But I am going to look up the Steinitz. Steinitz. I don't know how to pronounce it. I am not German. I apologize. The Steinitz defense. Let's see here. So the standard Ruy Lopez, I went for this exchange variation, what I'm calling a modified exchange. Right? You guys heard my discussion about why I made the exchange. I didn't know what to do, so I just followed up some basic principles. It does allow black to equalize. I'm not in love with this bishop move. I think it is an overly aggressive move. It's not supported by anything. I mean, yes, I guess granted you've got free range with your bishop, so you can go wherever you want, but it's an undefended bishop. Yeah, the engine swings slightly back in my favor in that case. We've talked about rook e1 as one of our moves, talked about d3 as one of our moves. I did not look at c4 at all. Oh, I see, because then that becomes undefended. Man, I don't notice what the heck. I don't like giving up free pawns for no reason, so I would not follow that particular line, that's for sure. But the d3 line was an okay one, but moving the rook right away would have been a little better. That's okay. I feel pretty good about this setup. Yeah, so where does this knight belong? Okay, so it does belong on f6. So I feel pretty good about that as well. f6. It's late in the afternoon, guys. I just finished up with work, getting in a quick game to kind of get my brain back into turning off from work mode. This whole working from home thing, it's weird to me because there's no separation between work and home. I literally am in the same building, in the same room, with the same everything, so playing a game of chess like this is a great distraction, and it kind of puts me back into relaxing casual mode. I'm in gaming mode. I'm no longer in work mode. So so the question is, where does the knight go? Does the knight go to d2 or does the knight go to c3? It looks like d2 is the resounding. The engine says d2 is much better. It does say start pawn storming. Possibly, but okay, so I played that all right. I was correct in my assessment. And this was the part that I was concerned about. The engine says that I really don't have to concern myself with it, but I was concerned that what happens if my opponent takes. I guess I've got takes here, so I've got this spot covered twice, so I don't have to immediately drop this bishop. Because the only defender of this rook is this pawn, and if this pawn moves, then I'm dropping a rook, and I really don't want to do that. But so I was concerned about that, so I went ahead and made the rook move, which, yeah, so the second most common, but the engine still says that taking or on either one of those pawns would have been as good, if not better. Yeah, and then this was just a pawn. I felt like it was just a free pawn. The engine says, wow, it's a huge jump. Oh no, it's finding better lines, okay. Still, it's almost a 3-point advantage at this point. All right, so in this case, I played b3, looking to fianchetto the bishop. The engine doesn't care about that. The engine says to attack this pawn and weaken this chain immediately. Takes and takes back, I guess. Yeah, the engine says I'm giving back some of my advantage here. And the engine says it's still okay to just go in with your knight. Go all in, it says. Huh. So this was a good outpost, and I should have seen this one. This is a look at the defense of this square. This square is super defended. In fact, it's got 3 defenders sitting on it right now. But once this knight moves, which I'd probably move this knight out of the way, free up this dark square on both diagonals. But look at how propped up this is. So if this knight had dropped back to the c4 square, that probably would have been a stronger move than what I did, dropping it back all the way to the f3. But that c4 square is really strong. It's right in the center of the board. It's got 2 pawns defending it. That was a really good outpost that I could have used to park that knight forevermore. But so I'm giving back some of the advantage here by not pressing forward. By just dropping it back, I'm giving up some of that tempo that I had gained. And this was not a strong move, the engine says. Oh well. And I remembered that one of the things we want to look at is this particular queen, but I didn't have. This isn't the same as the last game I played where this rook came down. So there's no rook cover because he's already castled. So the question is this particular and this particular and this particular is what's all lining up against that pawn. I do have some protection, but not 100%. So this is where I spent a lot of time to make sure that I had this covered. Yeah, and the engine, oh, that's a good one. Immediately strike here, it would drive the bishop back. Okay. Which then keeps the queen and takes away the advantage of that knight. All right, so that's an interesting move. I would not have picked that one. This move, though, this pawn move here, b4. Why is b4 a good move? No, because, yeah, this is not, that doesn't make sense. Why is b4? Because if he takes here, oh, I can take here. Oh, no, because if he takes here, I can take with the knight, which opens up an attack here. Nope, it doesn't like that at all. Right. I don't understand. I'd have to look at that line closer. Either way, okay, so this particular thing, yeah, the engine didn't like that move. All right. This was just, like I said, I found it later, right? I found it later, but man, I would have been a lot happier if it had come from that side. Oh well. This is a good exchange. I felt really comfortable making this exchange. Engine says captures from the inside out, which would open up double attack on this pawn, triple attack on this pawn. Oh well. Yeah, see that's what I was concerned about. The engine says I still have a slight advantage here. I didn't know what to do at this point. I was debating on trading, but that would give him his rook down this free file. And I just didn't really want to do that. So he's saying push the f pawn. You've got this structure here defending it. Push the f pawn. It would remove the bishop. Don't know. Yeah, I didn't know what to do at this point, so I made a waiting move just to try to see if my opponent would make some kind of error. He took advantage of my tempo. That's fine. Yeah, this move I disagree with. I don't know. I know he was going after this undefended bishop, and that's pretty obvious. But by doing so, he undefends his pawn, and I can get my bishop out of the way and take a pawn at the same time. Like that seemed like a no-brainer to me. Again, he's attacking my undefended pawn, my undefended bishop, but I've got lots of opportunities that I can. I really only have the one square I can go with my bishop. Could force a queen trade, not force, but could encourage a queen trade. And then yeah, this move here drops the queen, which I didn't see. You guys had saw it. I'd already moved. I already moved my bishop out of the way. Would have kept him in the game. Let's see how bad the engine swings. So it's a plus 18 for white. If I had gone here, it drops to a plus 3. So it immediately gives back this entire advantage. Immediately gives it all right back. Immediately. Wow. Yeah, that's what the kind of line I was looking at. Give me this really strong pawn center. I mean, I've even got an extra pawn here in the center that I can just throw away if I really need to. But look at this, all these connected pawns right in the center. Yes, my king is a little funky, but I mean, in that case, there's nothing on the diagonal, so I've got nothing to worry about. So I would happily park under here, because now I've got this hidey hole. So if his rook ever to come down, I can always just tuck up underneath between these two guys. See, this is the position I was considering in my head when I was considering making those trades. When I was considering making the trades, though, they typically included leaving the queen on the board, though, which does cause some concerns. And the engine says it's a dead even either way. I was honestly debating on here. I don't know why, other than I felt that this diagonal was just so strong. Oops, not that. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. So anyway, this was the Steinitz game, right? Ruy Lopez, Steinitz defense. I'm gonna go do a little bit of research, see if I can get some more, figure out, different traps that I might fall into with the Steinitz, see if there are some better options to make games. But I felt this was pretty good. I felt really good about this game, other than the fact that I missed the queen capture. But even not knowing this particular opening, I felt like I followed through on the principles. I stuck with it. I checked everything. We were good on time throughout the whole game, right? We were pretty even on time. Oh, let me delete all this so we go back to where the actual game ended. Oops. Right here. So yeah, we were good on time. I don't know. This was an interesting game. I guess that's it. That's all I can think to say. Hopefully I've not babbled too much, guys. All right, talk to you later. Bye.